Good morning, my name is Bill Strand, and this is the Chameleon Academy vlog. My pair of Shamrock Chameleons come in tomorrow, and I need to have 2 cages in that empty space by the end of today. So today I need to assemble a Reptibreeze cage, go out into the wilderness and collect some branches, and then set up both the Reptibreeze and a Dragon Strand Tall hybrid cage back there. And for what? Let me show you pictures. Here are some pictures that I've been sent of the Shamrock Chameleons that are coming in. This is a young male whose name's going to be Spearmint. And this is the female. Her name's going to be Wintergreen. They're both sexually mature, but young adults. And a number of people were wondering about the size of these Shamrock Chameleons. And I'll say in respect to the well-known Panther Chameleon, a male Shamrock Chameleon will be smaller than the adult male Panther Chameleon. And the Shamrock female is going to be a little bit bigger than the female Panther Chameleon. So they're right in between the Panther Chameleons. Now, there have been some questions as to what exactly I'm doing with these Shamrock Chameleons. I'm putting together a breeding group with the intention to establish this species in captivity. Now, something like this is too big for one person to do alone, so I have members of the community that are going to be helping me. At this time, there's no captive hatched available, and so I have to acclimate wild-caught chameleons. The plan is that the captive hatched bloodlines that I produce will go to a handful of trusted small batch breeders. And within this network of breeders, we'll be able to establish a number of captive bloodlines of the Shamrock Chameleon. Now, the next question is, how easy is this? And it hasn't been done before. Although a couple of people have hatched out the Shamrock Chameleon, and so we do know how to do it, but it hasn't been done often. So hypothetically, we should be able to do this. But you're following in real time.
You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now.
So you're going to see whatever happens. If I'm successful, you can celebrate with me. If I'm not successful, well, you're going to see that too. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that we will be celebrating. But at the very least, watching me go through this is going to be a learning experience for anybody who tries this in the future. And for that alone, it's worth it whether I succeed or fail. But I have every intention of succeeding. But now it's time to get to work. First thing I'm going to do is go out and find some branches. Then I'm going to assemble and build out my cages. Let's go.
I'm going on an adventure!
All right, so I am over here collecting branches in a wild area that's relatively near my house. I've been lucky that I've been able to find a couple of wild areas. I make sure I know where the wild areas are that are within easy driving distance. And this is because I like to collect my branches, especially if I can find sycamore. I love sycamore branches. They have all these twists and turns and character. So this is one of my favorite things to do. Now, I know there's a lot of debate in the community as to how safe natural branches and such are, like branches and leaves and things taken from the wild. And there's 2 schools of thought on that. There is the preference for things from the wild, because that's just more natural, and there are natural bacterias and such. And then is the other side where they want completely sterile, and so bake the branches, bleach the branches, and get every vestige of nature out of this. And the thinking behind that is valid. There's things in nature that could harm our chameleons. Now, the question is, what is truly the risk? So I don't have an answer for that. I don't have a scientific answer that I can point to. All I can say is I've been using natural sticks, leaves, and such from the wild areas for my entire chameleon keeping career. I've never had a problem that I can point to and say, oh, I really wish or that some poison or parasite came in with the branches or leaves or whatnot. So I offer my experience. I will say I haven't had a reason to ever discourage somebody from getting something from the wild. But I also am not going to discourage you from taking whatever precautions you want to take to make it so you can sleep better at night. If you are concerned about what's coming in with the branches, then go ahead and sterilize them. If that's what it takes for you to feel good about this, then do it. There are some people that say that is harming. You taking that living part of it away may do some harm, but I think that is, once again, in the realm of philosophy, and I haven't seen any evidence either way. Now, we want to talk about, is there a parasite danger? And right now, I don't know that that's reasonable. It takes a lot for a parasite to become so host specific. And so how similar are a chameleon's body and the local alligator lizards? Could a parasite really a jump between species? You get to coccidium, maybe they can. I haven't seen evidence for or against. And there's also the question is, would the parasites of my natural area be able to at least get into the chameleon, be a dead-end host? And that's where the parasite can do part of its life cycle, but can't complete its life cycle. It's kind of like when it's called plumber's itch, or when you go to the beach and your feet get all irritated and you get all these red squigglies. That's because the dog hookworm has entered your foot, but your physiology is different than a dog's, and so it gets lost. It can't find the bloodstream to complete its life cycle, and so it just wanders aimlessly through your foot, which sounds kind of disgusting, and it is. So that's what happens when Uncelastoma caninis, the dog hookworm, meets up with the human. It's close enough, but it's close enough to start the life cycle, but not close enough to end it. So it's not a binary yes or no. There could be various stages. Until we know more, it's up to a personal decision for you. And for me, I collect branches and I enjoy it, and I'll keep doing that until I have real evidence that it's dangerous. So anyway, I will get to collecting here, and we'll be able to put together a bunch of cages, and I'll show you how I do it, and you'll come along with me. So go ahead and see all these branches that are available to me, and I'm looking for 3 main branches. As you go to the Chameleon Academy, you'll see my 3 main branches. The first is the structure branches, the ones that I put on the dragon ledges, and all of my pots and branches are connected to those structural branches. Then there's the perching branches that are specifically chosen for being thin, so the chameleon can get their feet all the way around to halfway around. Those are perching branches, and those are specifically, carefully chosen for the right diameter. And then there's the network branches, to where a lot of thin things going all over the place. I don't expect the chameleon to be perching in that area, but when I provide all of those network branches all over the cage, that gives the chameleon access to all the different corners of the cage. And so the more branches we have, the more they can utilize the cage space. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of collecting here. So I got my haul of branches, and so I'm ready to go back and start building a cage. What's great is if you tell your boss that you got an appointment and you leave in the middle of the day, they rarely ask because they don't suspect that you're rushing off to the park to be able to get to the little wild areas before the sun sets. But you know what? It's my appointment with destiny.
What follows is a brief construction montage. hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage.
All right, it looks like I'm set to introduce my new Shamrock Chameleons. They come in tomorrow morning. I'm very excited to share the unboxing with you. So if you want to follow along, hit subscribe, and tomorrow morning is going to be a big day. I'll see you then.